Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Thursday, March, what is it, the 26th? The 26th. We're almost to the weekend, finally to the weekend. How you guys doing? How you holding up? A lot of people are stuck at home now. Not normal for some people. I'm used to it. I've been a work from home kind of guy for a decade or so. So it's not that big a deal to me, but a lot of people aren't handling it right. Hopefully all these live streams that me and these other content creators are putting on is helping you get through. So today I've got a guest host, Jay from the Nevermore Tavern. I'm sure most of you folks are familiar with Jay. Hi Jay, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. Day 3 or 4 on lockdown. I'm not sure which. I said I worked Monday, but I worked third shift, so that was Sunday night. So I don't know. It's Thursday morning.
So are you gonna go stir crazy? Do we get to watch?
I already am.
No surprise, huh? Yeah. And
it's different when you plan a vacation and you go on vacation for a week, then show up for one day of work and then get told you're not working the rest of the week, and call on Friday to find out about next week. It's a whole different bug there.
I think a lot of people are going to be having an adjustment. I mean, yours is kind of a obviously unique case there, but a lot of people are going to have some adjustment. We also have a special guest today, Daniel Fisk Bennett. Did I say that right? Good morning.
You got it.
How are you doing this morning?
I am on week 3 of lockdown.
Oh, week 3 of lockdown. I see.
Yeah,
how are you?
I work at a school, so I got a presumptive positive for COVID-19 about 2.5 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
And had some coughing and got seen and whatnot. I got told to be on lockdown, and by the time quarantine was over, the state went on lockdown. So,
so you must really be going crazy.
Yeah, I was actually planning on going fishing today, and then the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife decided they're gonna close down fishing now too. So.
Fishing. Damn it. What's the world coming to?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Fishing was a thing. Daniel, if you don't mind, I know you're with an American Atheist. You do some other things. If you don't mind, give us a quick introduction. Let us know who you are and what you've got going on.
So, yeah, I am the Assistant Washington State Director for American Atheists. We have no state director for Washington State right now, so I guess acting state director, if you would like to call it that, after our state director retired about 1.5 years ago. But beyond just that, I'm kind of a Facebook multimedia empire kind of person. I started a skeptical atheist organization called Atheists Against Pseudoscientific Nonsense. We go by AAPN for short.
Okay.
It's on Facebook. There's well over 100,000 subscribers to it, and a large Facebook group. I'm also the founder of the Atheist Directory, which probably has its tentacles out a lot more than people realize. It seems like a good chunk of atheist groups have the Atheist Directory as an admin on there. So I admin and moderate probably a good 200 Facebook groups, most of them atheist and skepticism related, or science.
Really?
So
I knew you were.
I also have the website as well.
Yeah, I saw the website. I got a link to it. I've got a couple of links down there. I can get some more if you want to drop some more in there. But you're related with Atheist Nexus, and that's one of the oldest groups that I have seen.
I have my after I got out of the Navy 5 years ago, I really got involved, and because I had a lot more time on my hands. I was inspired by the whole Coach Kennedy event when I watched the Satanic Temple kind of go after this pray in the field kind of guy and watch the entire world fall down on this idiot.
Right.
And it inspired me to say, hey, let's go for it. And I just happened to be I would say more on the initial side of the opening when it came down to Facebook and the whole atheists and skepticism side for Facebook. I'm one of the original Facebook group members of the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. I am actually an admin on the original Facebook atheist group.
Really?
Called Atheists. Yeah, it's been around since, I think, 2000, I don't even remember. I have to go down and look. It's the original one though. And it's not even very big. You'd think it'd be bigger.
Yeah, I think
but it's got like 17,000. Was that?
I think I'm a member of that group.
Yeah, no, that's Andrew Beavers is I think as the owner of that, but they fly AAPN's banner. We also have close ties with organizations like Atheist Republic, and as you've seen, Aaron Raw is one of our admins as well, or moderators, whatever you would like to call him. He makes little appearances here and there as well, so it's fun to have him.
Yeah, we had him on the show last week. He was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, he's a riot. He's even funnier in person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I imagine. I have
some funny stories about him.
Because of the current situation, my opportunities to get to meet him have been, killed. Really, I was going to go to the AA thing in Phoenix, and I was going to try to go to Faithless Forum, and me and the wife were also planning a special trip just to the Dallas/Austin, so we could go hang out with the Atheist Edge people, and then go down and hang out with the Talk Heathen and the Atheist Experience people, and all that's just gone now. So, yeah, but now doing it on all the Facebook communities you've got. I mean, I just now created the Daily Atheist Facebook group like 2 months ago. Talk about last guy to get on the bandwagon. I want my buddy. There's not even a tech guy. Michael Inglehart. You might see him in the chat. He had a Facebook group, and he's like, you really should get a Facebook group. So
what's the Facebook group called?
Mine is the Daily Atheist.
No, the other individual.
His is You Matter. It's an inspirational kind of non-religious, motivational, inspirational kind of thing.
Very nice.
So here I am. He's a very non-tech person advising me. I'm a tech person. I had IT business for years to get on Facebook groups. It's like Critical Cripple Dave in the chat. I don't know if you know him. He if it weren't for him, I wouldn't even be on Twitter. I'm kind of a moron that way. But it's nice to meet somebody who knows about the groups. I may have to hit you up for some advice later. I've been building mine. I'm getting, I think, like 800 entire group members right now. But
yeah, I have several that are in the tens of Ks.
Really?
Yeah, AAPN, the one that I started out with, is got, what was it, 26.7K members.
Wow.
That's just one of them. There's a lot of them around that size. I'm a firm believer in delegation. So I come up with the ideas, I kind of delegate them down, and I have admins who put up with my crap and my shenanigans, and they help distribute what my goals and aspirations are for that particular thing. I have certain go-to admins that I have. Lance Days is one of them, and Carmelita Moya, I believe is how I can't remember. It's Moya, Moya. She's one of the other go-to admins, but she also works with philosophical atheism and whatnot. And I also have help from a few other very esteemed individuals. And I like to joke that I am the least qualified individual with AAPN. I'm only a psychology / interdisciplinary studies major. We have people who are actual bona fide scientists, doctors, researchers that admin and work for AAPN, as well as some of the other affiliates. And it makes it really fun because I could ask people direct questions who are experts in the field about damn near anything and have very concrete answers.
That's awesome.
It's a luxury.
Well, let me hit you up real quick. I don't see Neil. Have you ever met Neil, the 604 Atheist?
Does he go by another name on Facebook?
No. Neil Berenstein, I think, on Facebook. Anyway, he does these deconversion stories, and he loves to get people like you and me and Jay and everybody. He loves to get us and you up on his show for an hour to do a deconversion story. So he gets on to me if I ask too deeply about what he'll get me in my chat here. But I'd like to know quickly what got you out of any faith you were in, or were you ever with a faith?
My story's more boring. I'm a third-generation atheist.
See, Neil won't get on to me. He won't have to taser me through the internet or anything, but he'd probably still like to hear your story as an atheist, though.
it was a fact of life growing up. I wrote about it, being kind of confused as a child as to why people would believe in such ridiculous things. And I also had a neighborhood that was very multicultural. I had one neighbor who was Baptist, another neighbor who was Jewish from Israel, and another neighbor that was Buddhist. And up the way, there was one that was Muslim. And it kind of almost seemed to me, as the secular child to secular parents and grandparents,
Right.
that it was a way that they manufactured a story to understand the world that they couldn't make sense of. A band-aid on reality, per se. And that's kind of how I rolled with it.
We have a couple of questions for you from the chat. Best name ever, Miss Kristen would like to know if you use Discord at all, if you're a Discord user.
Yes, I have. And in fact, American Atheists, we were using that a little bit as well. I am not as familiar with it. So you would have to defer to American Atheists, but I know that they had been using it.
Okay. Also, Link Thomas wants to know what your favorite NFA team is. I don't know what that means.
NFA team?
NFA.
NFL.
Oh, NFL.
Does he mean NFL? Okay.
Well,
NFL.
Being that I am a psychology major, my concern is chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Gotcha.
I do not have a favorite NFL team. I actually am adamantly opposed to it due to its covering up of brain damage and injuries. It's pretty egregious. You're gonna put me on a soap stool here.
Right. Get after. Get it. Go for it. That's what it's here for. That's what we wanted you for, really.
We've had large studies. You could look this up. When you have, what was it, 270, I believe it was, former NFL players get a preemptive positive test for CTE, or deceased ones as well, and you had all but 2 of them test positive for chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It is more than just alarms and sirens that should be ringing out. This is a real problem that needs to be addressed. It's one of the reasons why I've been so opposed to my child being involved in youth football. My son loves it. He's good at it. But as soon as he went from flag football and he wanted to go to tackle, I told him absolutely not, because he is a child with a developing brain, and the science does not support it being safe.
Right.
So that's my stance on that. And Patriots suck.
Well, there are actually a couple of things there. First of all, is that there was the cover up. That's bad. We know that they did the bad thing. The second thing, though, is that they're trying. Now, let's put the cover up aside now. Now we have a game, a sport, where can they make it safe to play? Because they're trying to do all kinds of stuff. I mean, I love football. I just don't know that they could ever make it safe.
Here's the reality of it.
Okay.
No matter how well you make the helmet, it's the brain bouncing inside of the skull.
Right.
That's the problem. It's like taking this can right here. I put Jell-O inside the can. It doesn't matter how much cushion I do. At the moment I do that Jell-O is going to go from there to there and smack up against that wall. And so it's just like any other kind of traumatic injury. It's like the old adage. It's not the fall that kills you. It's the sudden stop. The same thing happens to the brain.
Right.
And it's that constant repeated over and over and over, those small little areas of impact that happen on the brain that kills the cortex and breaks down those neurons.
Right.
That causes so many problems with these athletes. And we see signs of it as they go along in their lives, and we've seen some pretty dramatic ones. I can't remember the particular individual, but he was the one who committed suicide and put in his little death note, "Please examine my brain," and they found that he had pretty bad CTE.
Yeah, it's so the answer is no, probably no. I don't see that they'd ever be able to make it safe for real quick. Epileptic Skeptic wants to point out that that's how she got epilepsy, I believe, from a brain trauma kind of thing. Yeah,
it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities at all. I don't know if there are certain procedures. I'm not advocating for any medical advice, but this is something that I would advise speaking with her neurologist and addressing it if she hasn't already.
Yeah, she's kind of car accident concussion, she says. Real quick, I want to stop and say good morning to everybody in the chat. Brainbug is here. Maxwell McGuire is here. Best name ever. Kristen, of course. Godless Granny. I saw Mama Atheist earlier. She was here. I need to get her back on the show. Of course, now it's getting to where there's so many in the chat. It's hard to point them all out. But hello everybody, and thank you all for showing up in the chat. If you have any questions for Daniel or even for Jay, you guys know Jay. If you have any questions for him, let me know, and we'll push them their way.
So I do have a question for Daniel though. You said you work in the school system there.
Yes.
Are you a teacher?
I've worked as a sub, but I'm normally a tutor over at the Veterans Resource Center.
Okay. Well,
I go to school full time as well.
I was just wondering, do you have any blowback? Because you see a lot of schools with the whole religion thing. Do you get a lot of blowback being an atheist working in the school system?
No. Being that I'm in Washington State, which is a very liberal state, I haven't had too much of that. Plus, I'm also at where I work is a public college. So it does get state funding, so it is illegal for them to endorse any religion of any sorts. So if I did, I would probably be the first to say something.
I just know there's a lot of places around the country that they're constantly pushing for religions in school.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I can't say religions in school. I should say the Christian religion in school.
Of course. And I work at a college, to be fair, not in an elementary school. So these are grown adults capable of making their own grown decisions.
Yeah. Now see, I'm in a different situation. I didn't grow up in a religion. I became a secular Buddhist about 11 years ago. So I'm a little different than a lot of people. So, and of course, I went to school in the high school through the late 80s, in the early 90s. I graduated in 92. So during that time where I was living, being a military brat, when my dad was in the Navy, I didn't have to worry about the whole religion thing like they've got to worry now. So I see the issues that people have nowadays, and I can't relate to it because it wasn't there when I was growing up. So I like to ask those that are in the situations how they see it from their point of view.
Was that a question directed towards me, or?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is being the position you are, you do work at a university and you're in Washington. Do you see a lot of like them trying to, not so much the school, but groups trying to organize in your university there type thing?
So we do have individuals that try organizing for and against. Thankfully, our system actually works here, which is pretty spectacular to watch it happen. Going back to the original thing with the whole Coach Kennedy thing, it was actually the school district that fired his butt, not people having to massively protest and do all sorts of other crazy antics. It was rather nice to see the system actually working in the way it had. We do have one particular extremist up here, Representative Matt Shea, and who I've been a virulent troll of his, admittedly. But beyond that, the majority of lawmakers up here are very receptive. And whenever I've emailed them with questions or concerns, they're very quick to respond. The only thing that really in this state that kind of stands out is in the city of Everett. We got one of those dumb Ten Commandment displays that got pulled up there, but that it went to Supreme Court and we lost, and because of the whole Supreme Court decision that the Ten Commandments display is whatever they wanted mental gymnastics used to say it's okay, but that's what it fell under, and so that's about the worst we got. And it's nice to be able to say that's about the worst we got.
Sounds like you need to get a hold of Lucian Graves and have him go throw up a Baphomet statue next to it.
Yeah, I actually work pretty close with TST up here. In fact, I was there at one of their invocations at the beginning of the month, or was it this month or last month? I can't remember. Either way, it was rather entertaining to watch because I helped puppet master this whole event. It was amazing to see people take bait and not realize that they were being played. I need to elaborate on this. So, essentially, the Satanic Temple of Washington State was denied the right to do an invocation. I wanted invocations just completely removed. So it's a win-win for me. Satanic Temple shows up, causes a scene. They say no more invocations. I win. Right? And so they would refuse to. So the Satanic Temple decided they're just going to show up there anyways and, go on the Capitol steps and create some big scene and then go inside and create a big scene. Well, I felicitated the churches by tipping a whole bunch of right-wing churches off, and they came out there all pissed off and storming up and causing a great scene, which is exactly what I wanted. A big scene. All the way to the point that Congressman Matt Shea was out there in front muttering whatever the hell he was muttering with his prayer warriors. And you know what? I figured it was a great success because it caused such a big scene that there's so many police out there that it's like, well, maybe they might actually get rid of these invocations, excuse me. And TST was very happy that I was able to help them make such a big scene as well. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, Daniel, I've got a couple of questions for you from the stream, from the chat again. Kristen wants to know, she saw a live stream from Khan Academy about trying to help teachers and students get through the isolation during school. Have you heard of those types of solutions at your school?
So as it stands right now, we've been really by the seat of our pants, and there's been a lot of questions up in the air, educators and students alike. And I'm both. I'm a full-time student and an educator. As far as we've been doing is we've been going online using I don't know about copyright, but we've been using internet programs for the students to web chat with each other. Unfortunately, the way the state lockdowns are happening, it just does not facilitate social interaction besides online, and it is frustrating, especially for veterans who are students. Most of us veterans, we are taught that, hey, go outside, go get a breath of fresh air, and go do something enjoyable outside, and don't be cooped up all day. And now here we are being cooped up all day, right. Which is bad to leave some veterans at home with nothing but their thoughts.
True.
And being that we're now in spring break period, those students don't have school work right now, so we're kind of trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do for next quarter.
So it complicates an already complicated issue, really.
Very, yes.
Another question for you real quick is, what is your opinion on the most dangerous bit of pseudoscientific nonsense currently popular?
Was that from a person called Maxwell?
No, it's from Junk Shop Library. He's a regular in last show. Yeah.
There's a friend of mine on here. So anyways, most dangerous bit of pseudoscientific nonsense. There's quite a lot of very dangerous bits. Mm-hmm. I would have to say anti-vaxxers are pretty high up on that list.
Right.
They are a effectively a case study in the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you'll have someone who knows just a bit of knowledge to be ignorant,
right,
and have that peak of Mount Stupid way up there. And Karen from Facebook, facilitating or perpetuating absolute boulder dash to the masses can get people killed. Plain and simple. There are others out there. The whole miracle minerals solution BS that was going around, which is effectively just industrial bleach.
mm-hmm.
That's another one that's out there, which kind of tries to hide behind the guise of religious stuff because it's a church that sells the crap.
Mm-hmm.
Other stuff is more benign and just dumb. But the stuff that really kills people is the stuff that, like the alt-med, quackery, even chiropractic is out there, believe it or not.
It can be, yeah. Which of the guys was hawking the silver drink stuff to kill the corona?
There's a few of them out there. You have Alex Jones who hawks them. There's a couple other people that hawks them as well. Cortical silver, it is a neurotoxin.
I mean, Jim Baker. Jim Baker specifically has been told by the state, to stop doing it.
Jim Baker was doing it too. Well, Jim Baker does a lot of that dumb stuff, which is rather frustrating. Right. He did another one. Okay, so a little bit about me. I worked with nuclear stuff a lot when I was in the Navy. Without me going too elaborate.
That third eye behind your ear.
I was on nuclear submarines that had things that were possibly nuclear on them. All right?
Gotcha.
And when he was making comments about stuff removing radiation from water, if I remember right, it made me want to just scream at the video that I was watching.
Right. Because
things don't work that way, as he was trying to claim. So it's frustrating being someone who knows something about something and then seeing people fall for these things hook, line, and sinker. Mm-hmm. And when you try to tell these people that it's wrong, that it just doesn't sink in.
Right.
So after I started AAPN, it was interesting. I started learning so much about this culture of pseudoscience and the things that these people believe in, that you'd almost swear that I was involved in it myself just because of how much I know about it.
Well, that's interesting. Jay and a group of friends that I have, Jen's Little Corner, and forgive me for not saying them all, Math Pig, and all these groups, they're part of a group I call the Woo Fighters, because that's their whole bag. I don't know about Jay. Jay's more about conversations now and visiting and exploring interesting topics, but they really used to be about exposing all this nutbaggery, this woo, that's going on.
Yeah, when I first started my channel, it was about Freemasons and Illuminati hoaxes is what I started with, showing that no, that they're not behind every single thing that's out there. Not every member of Hollywood and everything is a members of the Illuminati. There you go. Get that tinfoil hat going. Yep.
Got it handy, huh?
Oh, I got a whole bunch of fishing crap over here. It's my general desk, and I tend to make fishing lures here. And tinsel from the holidays is actually great for making fishing lures. People see holiday decoration. I see potential fishing stuff.
So you're big into the fishing, huh? I mean, I haven't fished in years.
Yeah, I mean, Washington State has a lot of outdoor recreation. I mean, it's like Alaska Light. If Alaska was, if the states were a beer, there we go. It'd be Alaska Light.
Really?
We have the mountains, we have the scenery, we have the wildlife for the most part, and we got the salmon, and we got the other kind of fun stuff out here. So there's. If you're saying that there's nothing good outdoors to do out here, I'd have to say you need to walk out your front door first and take a look.
Real quick, Brainbug has a comment in the post or in the chat here that I think you might want to hear. It says, to Daniel, I would compare this get back to work message we're getting from the right-wing commentators during this pandemic is worse than the anti-vax.
I would definitely say that is a modern danger that we have. The I don't even want to say ill advice. The bad advice that is absolutely baseless that's coming from those particular individuals on that political side is detrimental to the health of human safety and well-being. It's just bad. Right. They're not experts. They're not doctors. And if there's any question, defer to the CDC or WHO. Do not listen to pundits. Do not listen to politicians. Listen to what the doctors have to say. And it's amazing even watching the doctor that's in charge of this pandemic response actually contradicting POTUS in real time. And it's refreshing at least to see that. But the war on science that comes from that particular side of the aisle, I almost feel like it's going to be an exercise in natural selection. I mean, crap. I mean, we're going to see a bunch of people die because of their ignorance. And I don't want to see that. It's a horrible way to go.
Right. Yeah. Kristen was asking, and this is kind of an interesting question. So you use tinsel for fishing lures. Is that hard or better on the environment than real fishing lures? Is there a reason specific?
So it's all this stuff gets tied down pretty tight. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't. I don't let it come off. As far as the plastic goes, I mean, most stuff that is made from fishing lures in general is going to be either PVC or any other kind of petroleum distillate product. It's the nature of the beast. Don't litter and don't be a jerk. Don't be the person that leaves fishing line on there. But I do, at least, unlike a lot of people, I don't use the styrofoam beads. I use wood beads from the dollar store because, one, they're cheaper, and two, they're better for the environment. So at least I did my good work there.
Grumpy Old Dude wants to know if we think it's fair to compare POTUS to Hitler. I think that's kind of a complex
Godwin's law
thing. Yeah. I mean, it's
it's
we could go on about that.
Yeah, it's easy to invoke Godwin's law. Yeah. Now, I would not be the first to say my feelings about that individual is of sheer and utter incompetence. I defer to what the American Psychiatric Association stated about Donald Trump. He is a raging narcissist and pathological liar. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason why a book was written about him, The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. So it is not like people in the psychology and psychiatry, fields have not noticed how dangerous he is. Now, there is a clear distinction, though, between Hitler and Trump. One, Trump does not have the massive authority Hitler had, so we don't know what he would be capable of if he did. But Hitler committed mass genocide. Trump just did a lot of bad, dumb things. And yes, he did stupid things at the border. People died. And that's the reality we have to live with.
Some would argue that it was only because it's only because of our modern technology and our modern being able to get the news out and the left keeping him from doing things that kept those numbers on the border of the deaths being low.
Yes.
And it's just a few more steps to trains.
Unfortunately, we don't know.
I know about Godwin's law, but at some point, at what point does Godwin's law not apply? And so, I mean, does somebody actually have to wear an I am Hitler bandana and start goose-stepping in the street before the similarities between how they rose to power and how Hitler rose to power and the things they did in the beginnings of that are similar?
What we risk doing is going down the slippery slope. What we do need to acknowledge is what we see right in front of our faces. The narcissism, the lying, the refusal to tell the truth in general, and the also just sheer incompetence.
Right.
There's enough on our plate as it is without needing to stack Hitler on top of it. I mean, we have plenty there.
Oh, right.
For criticism.
Well, with the current corruption in my opinion anyway, the corruption in the entirety of the political what's going on, it doesn't matter. I mean, we talk about how incompetent he is. Ha ha ha, he's incompetent. And yet, look at all the things he's doing. Surely he's not competent and incompetent. Which is it? Is he this brilliant genius who's now running our country in the ground just exactly the way that the right wing wants him to do, the Christian pundits want him to do, and all this thing? Or is he an incompetent moron? He can't be both.
You know, there's one spectacular thing that I've learned is when people say that he's done all these things, I ask them point blank, what things has he done? Mm-hmm. Getting a straight answer from that is not like, I'm
taking over Congress and the Senate, being able to use corruption, whatever he's used to get these guys, like the whole impeachment. What happened with the impeachment? Can you say the impeachment was normal and average? Can you say the fact that the entire right-wing part of our party of our government fought to not have evidence put forth on an impeachment of the president? Can you believe that? Now, where does his power stop then? There's an example.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we know that there's a lot wrong.
Right.
And it is a very scary time. It's the United States.
But how did he do that as an idiot?
I don't think there's as much going on with him as a lot of people. I think he gets a lot more credit than he deserves. When it really comes down to it, from what I've come to understand with politics, it's the Senate who really is the one who makes the decisions, and the president is more figurehead.
But for some reason, he seems to have the Senate, or at least the complete right side of our politic, the GOP, in his pocket. Lindsey Graham went from sniveling, I hate Trump, he's the worst thing. Next day, he's a Trump butt kisser, and he's just ridden that the whole way. Why? How did Trump do that? How did this moron make that happen?
So Trump is I've said it before, he's a narcissist. So he's a bully. Mm-hmm. And people who are bullies are good at influencing through fear tactics. Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to the way it's just think of your schoolyard bully. Might makes right. You know, we're talking 5-year-old ethics here. Mm-hmm. You know, like 5-year-old as an age ethics. Might makes right. So you don't need to be smart, talented, or whatever. You just need to be the biggest asshole there is, and you'll be the one who's in charge of the playground. Trump has been used to getting what he wants this entire time, and he's good at manipulating. There are things he's good at, not for the right reasons, but he's good at it. He's good at gaslighting. He's good at manipulating. He knows how to cast shade. But when it comes down to complex decisions that require a lot of strategic thought or some ethics, or even going by what the scientists have to say, he goes by his gut, which could be anything. He's not going by what the experts have to say. In fact, the man's an anti-intellectualist.
Yeah.
So it's just more of a matter of he just happens to be top dog, and he's good at stomping his feet. Beyond that, he's not very smart. He's just a big bully.
Right. No, I can agree with everything you said. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of bullies in this world. Not very many of them get to be president. I mean, we saw him do the things before the election. The making fun of the reporter, the paying off the porn star. During the middle of the election, the paying off the porn star, the getting caught paying. His lawyer sits in jail now for paying off a porn star. Right? And
what that
Bill Clinton got a blowjob and was impeached.
And what that highlights is privilege.
But yeah, so I know that, but so many people on the right side went forth. Remember, we're talking about Bill Clinton. He's not privileged. He wasn't privileged. He wasn't a wealthy man in a powerful position, and yet a blowjob got him impeached. And I actually lied about the blowjob. But with Donald Trump,
he still didn't get removed from office either, too.
No, he didn't. He didn't actually. But look what happened with him, though. Were they bringing forth evidence? Did they bring forth witnesses? Did his entire party fight the bringing forth? No. But look what happened with Trump. It's just, I'm not trying to argue. Well, I guess I am trying to argue about it, but it's just the notion that he's a complete idiot is both true and not true. I see the things he says, and I'm like, how does this man do this much damage?
Idiot either. I say it in jest.
Yeah.
I use the word incompetent.
There you go.
Are you familiar with the Peter principle?
Refresh all of our memories.
Okay, so the Peter principle is your classic bad boss syndrome. It's a person is only elevated to their highest level of incompetence.
Mm-hmm.
With Donald Trump, he is like the perfect encapsulation of both the Dunning-Kruger effect and the Peter principle. So you have this individual who is post-turtle. Ever heard of that phrase?
Post-turtle. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
So he's a post-turtle. You know, the farmer drives along. He sees a post right there from a fence post and a turtle on it upside down.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the turtle didn't get up there by itself. It was well elevated beyond anything that he could possibly achieve, and there's no way he's going to be able to do anything while he's there. But how he got there is kind of a mystery.
And yet, this post-turtle has been doing the damage from the moment he got into office, one of the first things he did was start gutting Meals on Wheels, for example. You know what I mean? And that post-turtle did that. And then last year he gave this big bailout to the rich, and he shilled billions of dollars to the rich in taxes.
You guys also remember, the man is he's got a lot of money.
So does Bloomberg.
And but these also have a lot of people who are on his side, in that political spectrum. Yeah. And it sucks because we are seeing what power and privilege has to offer the greediest of individuals when they are left unabated.
Yeah. Well, it does, of course, obviously, couldn't possibly believe that Donald Trump is the orchestrator behind all of this stuff.
No.
But, I agree with what you said. His incompetence, he comes out and all he has to do is start speaking. And you can tell this man is not the orchestrator. To
quote a particular, I can't remember if it was Hillary or someone else, but it's something that I've been saying over again. He panders to the lowest common denominator.
And there's more of that here than I thought.
And he tells people what they want to hear by felicitating their fears, anxieties. He's playing to their limbic system. And it's all emotional, nothing logical or rational about it. He's rallying people up, typically angry, in an anger reaction, because if you look at it's always those immigrants, the radical leftists, AOC. There's always something. It's never really about we're going to fix this. It's I'm going to fix this, and it's all their fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of that too, huh? Well, Jay is one of those who, if we were to all die off and the earth retake itself, he would be happy. You may be getting your wish, buddy.
Giant meteor 2020.
Yes, giant meteor.
So, I want to change topics here just a little bit. Daniel, do you have a project that you're working on right now for like the atheist movements or anything like that? Is there something that you're working on right now that you want to kind of push out there and let everybody know about?
A few. Currently, right now, I am trying to figure out, after this whole pandemic passes, how to create yet another grand, spectacular show in the Capitol, again with TST, because obviously it worked so well last time. I'm also trying to get the website for AAPN even more integrated, and possibly get it to fund itself better. We've had the website for a while. We've had great content on it, but for the longest time, we decided to leave it all up to donations. because we didn't want to sell out. So what we figured is if we could get at least just the website to be self-funding, that would be great. The problem is we do not want to have advertisers advertising garbage on our website, especially since me being the voracious troll that I am, chances are I'd make fun of the advertisers.
do you guys have a Teespring store or stuff like that?
We do not. We did host somebody else from a company called Logical Threads. Mm-hmm. We allowed them to advertise their stuff on our website just as kind of a here you go. We've still kind of just been batting around ideas. It's just we don't want to sell out just because everything's fair game.
Well, the reason why I ask about the Teespring is because you can go for free and make your own T-shirts based on your own designs, and then you can advertise them on your own website, and you have all the control. It doesn't cost you anything, and then you make your own. It's all you. You don't depend on anybody, and their margins are pretty good, so you make some coin whenever you do get sales and stuff like that. So, just a thought.
I just wrote that down.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I actually wanted to ask you, the American Atheist sent out an email yesterday, I think, or the day before, about do not let churches take advantage of this big infusion
yeah, there's a couple
of money.
things that they're doing. They're trying to see if they can't milk money from the government. Of course, nothing else is new.
Of course.
The other one is trying to get special exemptions to the quarantine orders. Okay. In Washington State, it didn't fly, thankfully, which didn't surprise me. But other states, which are more conservative and kowtow to the religious right, mm-hmm. They've been having a lot more issues, and some churches are effectively just saying we're going to do it regardless of what the CDC says because they have their deity on their side, mm-hmm. and that's scary because a virus doesn't care what your beliefs are.
True. Well, there's that is true. All right, so let me ask you then. I agree 100. You got two parts there. One is that they're wanting to get money from the government. That's point one. I'll come back to that. Two is that they are trying to break the quarantine for the thing. I totally get that. That's just dumb. They're dumb. All right, now on the first part about getting money. I am not a person who's going to ever say the church should have our tax dollars, blah, 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 because they are the church. We all agree, right? Okay. Yep. But there are also businesses. And I don't agree with what a gun shop sells, but I don't say that gun shop should not get any money from the government when their business faces hard times because of this thing. So how should I feel about churches? Now, normally I wouldn't say give churches any money, but now churches are a business. They're people who make a living and have it. Now, not that I agree with that living, right? But now there's a difference between asking for special and asking for the same. All this time they've been asking for special.
I can answer this question from a constitutional standpoint.
Please.
A gun store pays taxes.
Okay.
A church does not.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's the difference. The gun stores pay taxes. Churches don't have to.
Okay. So Talk Heathen is a 501c. They don't pay taxes either. Just like many of these churches. Does Talk Heathen not deserve, or Atheist Experience, do they not deserve to get funding from the government to help their business or their foundation stay going?
Are they listed as a religious organization?
Well, see, I understand that. No, they're probably not. Right? Actually, no, I don't think they are. Sometimes some of those atheist groups or satanic groups will take that, and sometimes they will not. But
I do not know how the current language is written in what they're trying to pass with this stimulus bill. Mm-hmm. Since it what was it? Got passed a couple hours ago,
right. From
what I've come to understand. But I do not know if it's going to address nonprofits or not.
Yeah.
But as far as churches go, they don't pay the government anything.
That's true.
Therefore, they should not expect anything in return. They do their thing. We do, and the government does their thing. and it's supposed to be that line of you don't cross here and we don't cross there, even though the churches love to cross there.
Yeah, and the religious politicians love to cross back. We know this.
Oh, absolutely.
Time and time. I really wasn't. Anybody who knows me knows I am absolutely not a person who agrees with giving the churches any money for anything like that. At this point, I'm not really talking about the church side of it. I'm talking about the employee side, just like any other business where they're going to be struggling because of this. But I get it. Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Especially now, matter of fact, I've got a shirt. A lot of people say if religious organizations want to have a say in our government, they need to pay taxes. That is not right. They need to pay taxes without getting a say in our government. Because if we let them have a say in our government when they pay taxes, then we're just screwing ourselves. They've got money. They've got power. They've got clout. These religious, you make it to where they can literally buy into our government by paying taxes, and we're just giving them a thing. So I'm all about them paying taxes. I don't think they should have any more say in our government than any other business does. It's one of those. But the way people often phrase that is if they want to say in our government, they need to pay taxes, and I don't agree with that. I don't think they should be able to buy.
The concern that I would have is if they start paying taxes and they start wanting to say, nothing would scare me more than the Mormon Church or the Catholic Church, but more the Mormon Church, getting involved because of the massive amounts of funds that they have due to all the tithing that they take in, the amount of damage that organization could cause to the LGBT, to the secular community, to women. Something that well funded, being allowed to use their money and influence would be damn near unstoppable, and therefore I think having them pay taxes would be a bad idea, because that would give them room to say, we demand our fair share then.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, all right. So at what point, and there's a clicking sound. I don't know if that's who.
Oh, that's me. I'm
nervous clicking.
I'm sorry.
Gotcha.
He's fidgeting. I've got a little ring here that does multiple different things. It's what I use to fidget with.
Gotcha.
If not, if not, I'll be like over here.
I clip my Bluetooth thing, my little earplug. I'll flip it back and forth whenever So obviously we wouldn't want. I don't want to give them any power. I just wanted to make a note, a little bit of an addendum to the notion that if churches are going to pay taxes, I don't want them buying their way into power. That's all. People often say churches need to pay taxes, but if they do, that's fine. Just don't let them have any more control than they need. Let's see. Also, you're mentioning the gays and the LGBT community by the Mormon Church. Did you read the article about the leader of the prayer or the Bible study at the White House blaming the gays and stuff like that for the coronavirus?
COVID-19.
Yeah.
What else is new?
I mean,
there's so much stupidity that flows from the religious right that, I mean, at this point it's like splattering paint against the wall. I mean, and nothing surprises me. I mean, I could make something up, and 2 days from now it'll be true.
Yeah. There was an article written by Andy Hall. He's a writer, a humor blogger, and a writer for Patheos. He's also a co-host on my show every Tuesday. And he wrote a blog on Patheos, or an article on Patheos, joking, it was satire about how Donald Trump has fired Fauci and replaced him with Deepak Chopra. And I reposted that on my wall, and I had people, you never know, right? You just don't know.
Have you seen the random quote generator?
No. Is it as good as the real Trump?
There is actually online a random Deepak Chopra quote generator. It is the funniest damn thing ever.
I did not. I've seen a few of his debates. It's been a few years back. I've seen a few of his debates. But people in my chat were trying to they were trying to figure out if the article was real or not. I did have to finally go put in there, it's satire. This is satire. It even says so at the bottom of the article. but because of the notion, the absolute clown car collision train wreck that has been this presidency, you don't know. Mm-hmm. So who are they going to put in charge of NASA? Who are they going to put in charge of the smart people stuff? The people who don't believe in NASA, the people who don't believe in smart people stuff. Who are they going to put in charge of our education? The lady who wants to destroy our education. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to have Deepak Chopra roll up.
Well, we had a young Earth creationist for a while in charge of NASA, so I mean,
it hurts right here. Right here when you say things like that, it hurts.
Yeah, it was funny watching. Oh God, what's that bridge troll's name? The one who called Trump a sniveling coward. He ran against him.
Who? Oh, Graham.
No, the other one.
The other sniveling troll.
The one who ran against
Kristen.
He's Texas.
Oh.
Oh, geez, what's his name?
Damn it. I don't remember.
It
wasn't Rick Perry, was it?
No, he grew out his beard. I'm trying to remember what his name. He's been in. It was one who. Oh, geez, now I'm going nuts. Let me go look this up. I gotta look it up now.
While you do that, Kristen wants to point out that there's also a random generator for Jordan Peterson as well. I didn't know that. Jerk who insulted Rosie would be president. So I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, you remember how... Isn't she like on his side now? Isn't she a pro right-wing nutbag?
I don't pay that much attention to politics.
Rosie, yeah, I thought she had turned into some kind of racist got kicked off her own show for saying racist.
The chat's asking if you're talking about Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
Yes,
thank you, Maxwell McGuire. Prize goes to Maxwell McGuire. Daniel's brain was going to melt right here on the show, and I understand. Ted Cruz.
Yeah, he was in charge of NASA for a while, and I remember there was a press briefing there. Not press briefing. There was a meeting there full of climatologists, a bunch of people with PhDs and LMNOPs, and them having to explain the very basics of science to this gentleman who was sitting there doubting these experts. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, really? How did you get put in charge?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the point I was trying to make, was it the person he was against science. He was anti-science. He was against these things. Now he's the leader of the Department of Energy, is he not?
Yeah. Rick Perry?
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I meant Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is the director of... I'm sure Ted Cruz got something.
He's in Texas right now.
Yeah, but...
Last I heard.
I don't remember. But there was... Like Betsy DeVos. Her entire industry has been about student loans. And she's all
absolutely.
about... You waving? Somebody's waving?
Atheist Pastor popped in the chat.
Hey, Atheist Pastor, what are you doing? What up, my ninja? He usually co-hosts with me occasionally, too. It's nice to see you. Mr. Atheist had a game show on his channel a couple years ago with Peterson Generator, Dillahunty. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. I bet that was hilarious. Generator or Peterson? Okay. Gotcha. Brain bug. Yeah. So Jay, they're loving on your beard in the chat, Jay. I'm just saying. All right, guys. Well, it's been the hour. I want to thank you for showing up and being on the show, Daniel. Man, I appreciate you, and we appreciate all the work you do. You got a lot going on. You're for somebody who I've never heard of. You sure got a lot of things and feelers going on.
I tend to. I'm not in it for the limelight. I'm just trying to get things done.
Gotcha.
I know there's plenty of other people who are doing everything they can to become famous. I'm just trying to actually get the work done.
Gotcha. Well, there's a lot of that for sure. A lot to be done. So,
right.
Especially with like Project Blitz and all that crap going on.
Oh goodness, yes.
We didn't even get into that. Jay, thank you for joining me today, buddy. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, man.
Yep. Tomorrow, we're going to have Jim Majors on the show tomorrow. He was.
Oh, you're gonna have the mustache itself, huh?
I know, El Estachio. You know, he's supposed to be on the show last Friday, I think, but wires got crossed, and things didn't happen. I screwed up. Yes, it was my fault. It's my fault. Well, he's going to be on the show. He forgives me. So, Lucy Lou, she just showed up. So, thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate you, everybody, for showing up. Thank you again, Jay, for co-hosting. Thank you, Daniel, for being here. You guys are wonderful. And thank you for everybody in the chat. We will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful... Let's see. Let's get to Friday. Let's just get to Friday right now. Y'all take care.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.